Hi. So today I'd like to show you how to play the theme to Breaking Bad. I'm tuned to D, D-A-D. This guitar is usually tuned to G, but I deliberately tuned it down to D today so that you can see that if you're tuned to G and you tune down, it's still totally doable. The strings are a little looser and therefore lighter, and you have to be a little more careful with how much you press on the slide. But really, it's quite doable with just your regular cigar box guitar. So you don't have to buy another one, and you don't have to swap out your strings. And I also like to show you how to do your own swamp music and make it sound swampy. Because it's really, 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 really quite easy to do. If you've been out there learning different swamp riffs from different people like myself and so many others, you're probably starting to notice that you're using the same frets over and over again. I like to call them sweet spots. That's what they used to be called a long time ago. 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, that's what we're going to use today. And you can use the 12th and usually the 10th, not the 9th. Actually, it's more of a sweet spot. But anyway, first I'll play Breaking Bad for you and show you how to do that. Starts off with all the open strings. That's really all there is to it. Just the open strings. Slide up to the 3rd fret. Then slide to the 3rd fret and out of the 3rd fret. To the 0. Then 5 to 7. 3 to 5. And then it actually loops. Now I have just a little bit of reverb on there today, and I'm deliberately using this Fender Champion because it's still available. It's a $100 amp. You can get it on Amazon. Sounds pretty good. I like using cubes and I like using the Vox Rhythm 5. But they're not available anymore. So as far as a lesson goes, they're not very, very useful. Because a lot of it is the sound. First of all, being tuned down to D really helps, but you can play swamp music in G, obviously. But it helps to be a little bit lower, especially if you're trying to do that TV thing, Discovery Channel thing. You notice that most of the stuff there is tuned pretty low, sometimes as low as C. But anyway, today we're D-A-D. This is a license plate guitar. Just a license plate on top. This is a vanity plate. I call it Wolfie, but it actually sounds really good. It has a humbucking pickup underneath it, one of those little flat ones from MDG. You can also get them from CBG. Quite high action, and it's meant just for fretless. But I like the metal top for swampy sounding stuff, because a lot of the shows, like Breaking Bad, and like on the Discovery Channel, there's a lot of shows that use slide guitar, and they seem to be using dobro. They have a really sort of a metallic edge to them, and I find this sort of gets a little bit of that. As far as in the cigar box world, it sounds a little bit like that. So that's why I use this particular guitar today for this particular lesson. And you'll notice that most of the tunes use the same frets. They just put it in a different order. And you can do this yourself. Like, no problem. So for instance, Breaking Bad, which you just learned and probably realized, wow, that sure was easy. You can do the same thing. Start with the zeros, and maybe go to the 3rd because you're used to hearing that. And then maybe go to the 5. And right back to the zeros. Or maybe go to the 5. Go to the 3, then back to the zeros. You don't have to follow the form. And the other thing is, all the notes in these sweet spots, the ones we're talking about today are 3, 5, and 7, and 0, they're all good. So you can start off with the middle string, which a lot of guys like to do. Go like 0, 3, and now you can go to the high string or the low string. Or 0-3 on the middle. Go to the low string. Or you can go 0-3 and pick a chord on 3. Back to 0 or maybe up to 5. So that was starting from the middle string. Let's start from the top string. 0-3. Maybe 0-3 and then the chord. Maybe 0-3-5. And maybe open. Or maybe back to that 5. Maybe 3. Whoops, I went back to the 5 quick. All of this sounds like I'm playing something, and I'm not. I'm just keeping to those spots. I haven't even used fret 7 yet. Maybe I should. And for that lick, you don't have to do the whole chord. Just go back and forth of them and you can make up your own stuff really, really easy. And keep it slow, because most of the swampy stuff is actually pretty slow. Oh, there's another way. This note on 5 here in the middle is the same as a high string. So if you go 0-3 in the middle, you can go up to the 5th fret and hit a chord there. But if you don't want that, you can go 0-3, high string, hit the chord there. So just do a lot of experimentation. And the other thing you could do to sound really swampy is I'm going to whip this over to tremolo. And to me, as soon as you hit tremolo, it immediately sounds swampy. Oh, and one last thing. If you want to play a little busier like that, whenever you're sliding on the middle string, you can always go to the open string, which is in tune, right? So you always sound like you're in tune. And you can always go back to the D string, which makes you feel like you need to change chords, but that's okay. That's all right. That's called a leading tone or anticipation, because now you want to go like that. And all of a sudden, instead of hanging there like sounding like a bad note, it hangs there and sounds great because you've just done what's called resolving. Whenever you have a note hanging and then you go to a nice chord, that's a resolution. So you can slide up, slide down, and it'll always sound good because you're ending with an open string. Just don't go too far. That doesn't sound as good. Always make sure you're off the string and to the next string before you get to the actual fret. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you start making your own swamp music and maybe post some videos of you playing your cigar box guitar. That would be fun. And be sure, if you do that, to link to me. I'd like to see some results. The only other thing I'm going to say is because these strings were light to begin with, and I tuned down to D from G, which obviously they work, is I had to be very careful to keep my slide flat and not do this. It sound, if I tip back, because this string is so light, if I tip back, it would sound out of tune really fast. But if you keep it flat, it'll sound great. Thumb on the back of the neck. Have a great day. Bye.